Hello, welcome back to the live stream here at YamahaSynth.com. I'm Blake Angelos here with Manny Fernandez. So you may have seen some of Manny's article series actually on YamahaSynth.com, where you did one for Reface, which is, to me, that's like the primer I send everyone to go to if they...
Yeah, that's like beginners, where to start.
4-operator kind of thing. And then there's a couple of montage series. But the main thing, so I know a little bit of background of Manny. Manny's been doing sound design for us. I guess you started with the DX7 II?
Yep.
So he's a master FM programmer. And actually, what is your programming and musical background?
Well, it's a little strange. Family musical background comes from a bunch of players.
Yeah.
I'm not a player. I'm the king of the NAMM clan. But I'm into sound. It's a sound design.
Yeah.
So I got into synthesizers as a teenager.
Yeah.
And had an ARP Odyssey drop in my lap in the late 70s.
My first synth too.
Yeah, cool box. And in helping set it up for our family friends, who happen to be Vic Feldman, the Victor Feldman, because of our family going back to playing with him years back. That's what got me started. And in college, I got exposed to Buchla modular systems, got myself a Pro 1, self-taught, and then went gaga when digital synthesis came out. You know, the Synclavier Go was not existent at that time. It was the real deal.
Really?
And
oh, wow.
So yeah, I got to play on a Synclavier 1 through college stuff, and I thought digital was just cooler than cool.
Yeah.
And then the DX7 came out, and
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, the one thing I really like about how you approach things is there's a methodical kind of way of breaking things apart and finding the components of the sound that you know, to build the sound, and I like that about you.
Well, right. So one of the things that we did way back in the day with the TX816 was to use those 8 modules for parts of sounds as opposed to just multi-timbral layering, all that stuff. Don't get me wrong, it's great when you stack all 8 parts on a Rhodes patch, but we made drum sounds, we made noise bits and stuff like that to put it all together. So we've been using that concept going back to that day. We just never had an engine as advanced as what we have in Montage and now Mod X. So yeah, I decided to approach you guys with that concept applied to this keyboard with that last article series.
Yeah. Well, let's kind of dive into some of the stuff that you've done here. So can you well, the piano stuff you have loaded in here, and I'm just blown away by how you use FM to recreate an acoustic piano. Can you just talk a little bit about that here?
Sure. So again, why would anybody do this day and age, right? Why? Well,
I get it.
Yeah, I'm that guy.
I definitely get it.
Okay. So what it was taking what makes an acoustic piano, what's its characteristics, break down the key things. And it's funny, it's a percussion instrument. It's not a string instrument. It's a percussion instrument. It's about the noise of the hammers. It's about hitting the strings. It's the thunk of the keyboard. And I'm thinking, you know, FM does that stuff really great.
Oh, yeah.
In a reduced version, historical electric piano sounds has been the forte of FM. But it's no really different than this. And I just decided, since I got all these extra waveforms, I've got more operators, I got massive polyphony, I'm going for the granddaddy. So we have our sound set up here, which, of course, thankfully, you guys have on Yamaha Synth.
Oh yeah, this is the sound set you have on the article. This is the Manny's FM-Xpert series, the one that has all the puns in it. At the top of that article, there's a link to get these sounds. So if you want to check them out, check out his articles. But you gotta read them all.
Read them all.
Go ahead.
All right, so. So this is all in FM, but the key is you got to get the noise.
Yeah.
So up high. So what we did is we broke down all those parts.
Yeah.
We got the thunk, just like somebody knocking on a door.
So how many parts are we talking here? Let's go to the...
All right. Yeah. So
it's full 8 parts.
So I'm using all 8 parts, but they're allocated to regions of the keyboard. So basically, I've got 5 parts down low because we need all the extra harmonics for those big fat strings, and we using 3 up top. So navigate me around here a little. I need to mute my guys here. Let's just go here.
Oh yeah, mute them out. Yeah.
So this is sort of the noise components.
Oh yeah.
And of course, up here, that's really all the piano is.
That's
it's a
right,
noise
yeah.
with a little bit of harmonic content. So
can I ask you
Sure.
just to break in here 1 second?
Yeah.
Are these all using the same just a sine wave, or are you using some of the? Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is where
It was
montage,
a leading question. I already
Yeah.
knew the answer. So.
Yeah. So again, we did this exact project on a TX-816.
Yeah. That.
Okay, and it was not successful to this degree because we just had sine waves.
Right. You didn't have the harmonics and everything. Yeah.
Right. So the additional waveforms are key.
Yeah.
The filters are key.
Yes.
So, my philosophy on FM is you don't need to know the math. You just need to dive in and do it.
You and John Chowning, you say the same thing. You don't need to know all the math.
Right. You just have to get familiar with it.
Right.
Like, people say, well, subtract's so much easier because I just take my waveform and go. Well, how do you know a sawtooth wave is the way to get a brass? You didn't. You messed around.
Yep.
So it's like you just have to go in and do it. So basically, with the extra waveforms and all the other stuff we have with the operators, that just gives us the versatility to really nail the harmonics. And what I talk about in harmonic component modeling is FM gets wanky when you stack operators tall and you add all these modulators into one carrier. So break it down into pieces.
Yeah.
So I highlighted through this whole series 2 operator stacks.
Right.
Maybe a 4 operator stack here and there for complicated stuff.
Yep.
But once you get a little part you like, leave it. Go to the next one.
Right.
So you don't get into all the weird interactions that make FM really frustrating.
Yep.
So it's a hybrid of additive and FM.
Yeah. That's well. I mean, and the cool thing is that you really do a good job explaining all this in both the articles, and then you have all the accompanying videos. If you don't get the articles, that's why he says in those articles, because I proofread every single one of them, you say the same thing. Make sure you check out the video. Unfortunately, I can embed the video, so I delete that and say, look at the video at the bottom. It's right there, so you don't even have to leave the article to see that. But that to me is the coolest thing. And the other thing that you said here that's really important when you deal with FM is the idea of, to me, it's the Duke Ellington comment. If it sounds good, it is good.
Right.
And if you use your ears, and John Chowning even says this, if you use your ears to guide you, go that way. And think about the math later. Yeah,
Right. There's a couple of things you have to learn, like where you're setting some fundamental ratios of things, but it's a lot easier than you think. It's a lot easier than you think. You just need familiarity with it. What I wanted to do here is to highlight what we have going on. Relative to our, the main reason why I wanted to do this project, which was because you can do certain things with samples, and Nick, I got to tell you, blew me away. He's performing on samples and got all that stuff to go on.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's samples where you're locked into all this weird stuff.
Right.
I come 180 degrees around on the other end of the rabbit hole, which is I'm building all this into harmonic structures from the beginning.
Right.
And we put the controllability in, so when a guy with Nick's skill comes in, he can do stuff that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's the same thing I feel, because we talk about, Scott Kinsey, and Scott approaches the keyboard the same way.
Right.
He's a keyboardist.
Right.
I mean, he's a great pianist, but if you ask him, I'm a keyboardist, because he operates the same way.
Right.
He uses Joe Zawinul did the same thing. Right. And so that's, I love that.
And that's the point of an electronic musical instrument.
Exactly.
Okay, that's what the electronics and the technology give us.
Yes.
Okay. Don't let me.
You were.
So the highlight of the last article, if you get through the whole series, is how we take our piano using FM parameters and just literally morph it from here to eternity and back.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
So I'm going to cue this up. You know, hold this.
Yep. Yeah. I got it.
So we have our super knob.
Oh my gosh. Yes, that is awesome. That says so much, and once again, no samples there. That's entirely FM.
No samples. That's 100%.
Entirely FM, and that's
FM.
the beauty of FM right there. Is those dramatic timbral changes. Yeah, people don't realize. When I play like the FM CS80 brass,
right?
And I always play it. I go, check this out. And I go, oh, I didn't know there was an analog engine there.
Right.
Yeah, there isn't. That's all FM. No way. FM is thin, and it's no. FM is not. It's anything.
Oh, absolutely.
And especially in montage and Modi X, you can achieve so much, and you prove it by doing just that.
Right. And part of the reason of that, and we talk about this in the article, we get into the geeky level for the people that do it. Every synthesis system has something it inherently does out of the box.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you just have to learn how to move around it.
Right.
So what I talked about a lot in the article and why I went to building up the little individual pieces is only go so far with so many operators, because then it gets FM-y. So in this case, I wanted to avoid that.
Yeah.
So we started using a lot of filtering.
Right, filtering, and then you also have the spectral. Do you use you have you worked? Yeah, I know you.
Right, we use the spectral. We add up the bandwidth and all that stuff. Yeah, and that's how we get out of a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yes, yeah. So you were talking that you had a piano in here where you've kind of you have them both together a little bit.
Oh, right.
To add some of the.
Right. So there's another thing you can really use your FM for in here, is using it to enhance your existing samples.
So here we have.
So this is the stock CFX concert, okay, and I added 4 FM elements here to add additional parts to the sound.
Okay, so we've just muted the AWM part of CFX concert, and then the other 4 parts are FM to enhance the,
Right, and what I picked out of here was some body resonances to give us a bigger piano.
Yes.
Okay, because you guys close sampled that, well done, but it's not like a big room sound. Natural sound. Okay, it's not a big room or natural sound. And then I added more noise components, and using FM, which is so good at getting bite, with high index, high modulations, I added more high end on hard strikes, especially up in the upper right hand register. So we added these components.
So those are the FM components.
Those are the FM parts. So now I'll let you do the honors, because like I say, so the dynamics are greatly increased, especially as you go up high.
Oh yeah.
And the envelopes for that sustaining string are slower and longer, so your legato playing is enhanced in the bottom end. So it's a lot fuller, it's a lot warmer. Yeah, you get more bell. Yep. When you hit it, you get that metallic attack.
Yeah.
So, again, using all those concepts of getting the components, the right time, the feel of the piano.
Right.
Matching this to your CFX sampled stuff. It's easily done in here because we got a great parameter set. You have great controllability. And again, those spectral waves, the filters, and all the stuff you have in Montage and ModX is just a whole level of what we had back in the TX-816.
So, and this is all part of the live set that we have up on Yamaha Synth.
This was special for NAMM, just for you.
This was special for NAMM. This was special for NAMM. You never know. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see if we can talk him out of this.
Right.
But wow, that's so cool. Really, really interesting. What do you think? You have anything else that you wanted to kind of show here?
Yeah. So this is something that was from the first montage set, which was just a sound that. It's just my favorite. You talk about Scott and Joe Zawin and stuff. This is such a sound in their wheelhouse. This uses FM to do timbral stuff using the motion sequences that is just really unique. This is the didgeridoo deal. Sorry, we got our mod wheels up here.
Oh, yeah.
And all that, that's all.
It's a great lead sound.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great bass sound.
So it's got the 4-man character. It's got the
Right.
gargles from the motion sequencing. It's got all these weird fixed
Oh, so
frequency
that's
carriers.
this right here.
That's motion sequence.
That's a motion sequence that's doing the warbling in there.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
That's from the first series?
That's for the first montage.
Yeah,
series,
the first montage.
Yeah.
Which that was called
FM Explorations.
FM Explorations. Yes, in that series. That was the first article series. Just if you go to Yamaha Synth and you type in Manny, you'll find all of these series. It's very easy. Or Fernandez or Manny Fernandez. So, wow, that's really cool. I think we're pretty close to being done here. But any other things you'd like to just sort of impart your genius wisdom of programming to people?
It's like anything. Players practice,
Right.
and they're fantastic because they practice.
Right.
Okay? When you program, practice. And there's
Yeah.
nothing, and you can't make mistakes.
Right.
I coined a phrase, happy accidents.
Yeah.
FM is great for happy accidents because you may not know exactly what you're doing. You may just
Right.
switch an algorithm. I say play algorithm roulette.
Right.
You know, just put some numbers in. Look for the happy accidents, what are called the hackcidents.
The hackcidents,
Yeah,
yes.
you know, and do it, and then go with it from there. Because the best thing about montage, again, it's got this very familiar layer with
Right.
filters and regular envelopes on it.
Yeah.
That you can start with a nice digital base.
Right.
Where you're building all these little parts, but then you can go to someplace where you're more familiar.
Yeah.
And shape it and make it yours without
Right.
having to worry about what we had to do back in the day before we had all this, like in DX Mark 1 and DX Mark 2 and that
yeah.
sort of stuff.
Yeah. So, so practice.
Practice.
Don't
yes.
be afraid to. That's the thing. People are always. It's weird. I mean, people have this fear to go in and get deep. It's like I don't know what. It's like,
gonna
no,
happen?
man,
Yeah.
you can't break this.
No.
You cannot. It's
Right.
fine. You can do whatever you want. I mean, if you know, obviously, but
Right.
so so awesome, man. I so appreciate. And I think everyone should appreciate these articles. I've learned a lot just from the last series, especially.
Nice.
The component modeling thing was deep. Phil and I were talking about this, and it's just like, wow, man. So really appreciate you taking the time to coming down here and sharing some of this knowledge and
pleasure.
sharing some of your work and everything. So once again, this is Manny Fernandez here. I'm Blake Angelos here at in the Yamaha synthesizer area at Yamaha booth at NAMM 2019. That's it for today for the live stream, but tomorrow we have more coming. Things tomorrow are going to be like, oh boy, tomorrow's the interview with Dr. John Chowning. So you might want to see that. Anyway, stick around. Talk to you later. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.